Oh, I'm starting this. Right. Today on the show, we go dancing at a wedding and tie up some loose ends. It's my intimidating face.
There you go.
Go with the theme song. Hello there, and welcome to the Lost Cantina podcast. I'm your host for the evening, Jaden.
And I'm Kevin. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So, I think this might be the first one we're going to do a video of. Just for y'all to know, we are going to start doing YouTube stuff. We're going to start posting some of these on YouTube, long format.
Yes.
And they're going to be a little edited here and there, but we're going to try to keep them pretty much how they are. I mean, that's pretty much how the podcast is nowadays anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to try to keep them how they are.
The editing.
So today,
if you're listening to this on the audio version, basically it's just gonna be the filter that like makes you look prettier on my end for like the next like hour and a half. So
Jaden hates his glasses, and
listen, we're not
think
getting
he's
into we're
insane.
not getting into this right now. It's fine. My glasses are fine.
I
don't like
understand.
them. You're right. I don't like them, but it's fine.
I don't understand why you hate your glasses, man. You look beautiful. You're a beautiful man.
Listen, it's a whole thing.
Well, so today we're going to talk about Andor. Ooh, look at that one. Today we're going to talk about Andor, and we are going to talk about the part 1. So we'll probably cover this
Talk about
in every.
bearing the lead there. Yeah. What are we doing here, Kevin?
Yeah. So the first. So here's the thing. Here's how Andor's has been released. Right now, these are going to come out post Andor. So they've already been released, but if you haven't watched Andor, interested in it, this is kind of like an easy way to understand how it works. We'll say this probably in like every single episode we do. So what you're going to see is a part 1, part 2, part 3 for us. So Andor has released in little small batches of 3 episodes. So kind of like season 1 had the first 3 episodes come out, and it was like its own little movie, is kind of like how everybody was treating the first 3 episodes of season 1.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing for season 2. So season 2 is 1, 2, 3 is kind of like its own independent story. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's kind of how they're doing it, and it's in 3 sections. So we decided what we're going to do is we're going to cover those parts, like those little mini movies, because honestly, at least like for instance, like part 1, it's not that crazy. There's not a lot of shit to cover. Like there's a lot of action sequences, there's a lot of like kind of build up, and the first episodes are usually like story element building up, like the base story. So it's not like a lot of shit happens in terms of like insane amount of lore drops, but yeah, so that's how we're gonna cover Andor season 2.
It's kind of interesting to me because I'm not sure if I'm in love with the way they're releasing this, because I feel like we're just gonna be done. It's weird to not have like episode to episode discussions, because I think Andor, like the first season, there were still week to week discussions, but like this feels kind of like we talk about 3 episodes and then we're done.
So season one, it was episodes 1, 2, I think, released, and then
the
episode
first 2
3
dropped.
came out. Yeah, it was episode 1, 2, and then episode 3, if
Yes.
I remember correctly. And
Yes.
then they did individual episodes for like a couple weeks, and this is just like 3 weeks, and
then
that's
we're done.
it.
Yeah, then we're out.
And they had Tales, right? The new Tales of the what was it? Came out as well.
Tales of the
last week.
Underworld.
Yes, Tales of the Underworld came out. So it was like we're getting a little bit of extra little side content, but yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. I personally don't think it's a problem with how they're releasing it in batches. I think having only 3 is kind of small. Oh, hold on a second there. Future Kevin here. Hello, how you doing? There's actually more than 9 episodes. So guess what? That's even more Andor content that we're going to be able to cover. So sorry about that. But yeah, more than 9 episodes. All right, back to past Kev. But there's a lot of work that goes into this. And so, like, I mean, it is technically 9 episodes and it's a full season, right?
Yeah.
So I get it. But I mean, then I'll just go watch Rogue One, like, right after. Like screw it. I'll just watch Rogue One.
I think everyone's doing that, honestly.
Yeah. All right, so before we jump into everything, we're going to kind of do that housekeeping stuff. We are on all of your socials, so go ahead and follow us. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, bluesky, YouTube now. And
Kevin's
yeah,
very excited about the launch of the YouTube channel. Congratulations,
bro,
Kevin.
I have been wanting to throw this on YouTube for so long, and I've been wanting to have like long format videos of the show on YouTube because I know a lot of people they like to watch their podcasts, and I get it. That's why, like, you know, you have those viral podcast videos, not just us, but like other shit too. And I get it. So I think some people, you know, they want to watch it. They'd rather watch it than just listen. So here we are. I want to start posting them.
Yeah.
I'm not guaranteeing that this is going to come out right away, just because there's a lot of editing and logistics involved.
We're trying out some new stuff going forward for things in the works behind the scenes. So we're
so just, like, you know,
be
bear
patient
with
with
me.
us. We're figuring it out.
Yeah, bear with us. If you see this episode on like podcast feeds, but you don't see it on the YouTube feeds, don't worry. It might take some time for these to come out on YouTube, just because I'm figuring out a lot of the editing on, like, you know, branding and like where that stuff's gonna go. Kind of like a brand template, like of like marketing stuff. Like, you're gonna see, like, I want to have like most of the shit ready to go for everybody, you know. I don't want to just half-ass this if we're gonna do it. I'm gonna cut this part obviously out of the YouTube part, but yes, so just bear with us. It might take some time.
I think it'd be funnier if you left it in, and then it's like, if you see this on YouTube and they're like, I'm watching it now. Meta. Don't shake your head at me. They can't see it on the audio, but on the YouTube video they will.
All right, so we're gonna take a quick break. We will be right back. Okay, so we're back. So we're gonna talk about Andor Season 2, Part 1, which includes episodes 1, 2, 3. In this, there are 3 specific stories that are being told throughout all 3 episodes. So it's not like one episode is going to just be one person's story. Episode 2, it's all 3 stories simultaneously at the same time, and they all are interconnected in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say there's a side story. It's a Luthen story. It's very subtle, because honestly, all 3 of these
it's tied into the Mon Mothma one.
Yeah, so like, okay, so here's how it works.
Give me the 3. What are the 3 storylines we're gonna talk about?
So the 3 are Mon Mothma.
Yep.
She has her own story. We have Cassian Andor.
Yep.
Who he's got his own as well. And then Bix mixed with the rest of the crew that were from Ferrix.
You're forgetting the greatest story. There's actually 4, Kevin.
What is the 4th?
Cyril and his mother.
Oh, that's in episode 4.
That's episode 3.
No. You're right.
Yeah.
It is.
You forgot. You forgot the greatest crash out in Star Wars is that shot of him.
I forgot about that.
Laying on the bed all sad and depressed.
Shit, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you did. We're gonna talk about that one.
Yeah,
That
we'll
one's
talk about that little mini
great.
side
I loved
fourth.
that.
I forgot about that. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. I think I blocked that out of my mind because it was so triggering. So yeah, there is a fourth. It's Cyril on his mama. Um, but yeah, Luthen is kind of connected in the other three. Um, we'll talk about Cyril's last, maybe, or we'll
Yeah,
talk about
his is the
Cyril's
shortest.
first. Let's talk about his first because
Okay,
his is the quickest.
let's
Well,
dive
his is
into
the
it.
quickest. Then we'll jump into Mon Mothma's. Then we'll jump into Bix, or then we'll not jump. We'll do Cassian and then Bix.
Yeah.
So, all right, lay it on me. Bring it up. It's the most triggering thing I think for every millennial out there who watched this. We were all just like cringing, freaking out, like, oh shit, this is my boomer parent. Like, I cannot.
So it was like, remember, I think you and I were both like at the end of season 1. I'll have to go back and review the tape. But we were both like, oh, they're going. Cyril saves Daedra's life on Ferrix.
Yeah.
And like there was immediately like a spark there.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, I think you and I are both. One of us was like, oh, they fucking.
Oh yeah.
And the other one of us was like, oh, they're gonna team up. And it turns out we were both right.
Porque no los dos.
But there was this great sequence where like, you know, Daedra comes home and Cyril's like, "You're back." It's the coldest relationship I've ever seen, by the way. The romance is so fucking dead.
It's honestly, it's like a very transactional romance.
But we find out later it's still a romance. Like,
yeah, it's weird.
It's so weird.
That's what I mean by transactional. Like, it's just,
but it's not, because there's genuine love there.
It's so weird. I hate it.
It's the two weird kids in the back of the class are actually like,
yeah,
you know, and like, so there's a sequence. So like Daedra comes back from like a mission.
So the mission, real quick, the mission she comes from. So she is brought in to basically there's like a secret board meeting with specific.
Let's put that on the side. Put that on the side. We'll talk about that. Yes.
All right.
Because that's a huge thing.
We'll hold off. Well, I figured it was part of her and him. Like, okay, all right.
No. We're getting this. Right. You want to get it out of the way?
Fine by me.
That thing's way bigger because that's a cross the board storyline. Yeah. Is that meeting? Yeah. I want to talk about.
No, you're right.
Yeah. You know, Cyril. Daedra comes back, and Cyril's like, "You're back," and she's like, "I'm back," and he's like, "What if we pretended you weren't back?" And I'm like, "The fuck does that mean?"
Right?
Like, are they fighting already? Because they just showed up. Like, what's going on here?
It felt so strange because I was just like, I would never, like, if Sarah was back, I'd be like from a trip, which she's done. She shows back up. I'm jumping for joy. I am like a puppy dog. Like, yeah, you're home. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. And I'm like jumping around. She's like, holy shit, dude, you got a lot of energy. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No.
And so I was like, why the fuck is she so? And then we find out, oh, it's because I joked, oh, they're gonna meet Cyril's mom. Turns out, yep, that's true. They met, and Cyril's mom is just a dick to him the entire time, like degrading him, like mentioning Uncle Harlow all the fucking time, like. And at one point, Cyril just like gets upset, and he just gets up and like goes and lays down in his bed, like super fucking sad and depressed.
Well, so what happens is his mom is like very, very rude and very like, oh, wow, this is a palace and all this stuff. But then she's like complimenting, but in a passive aggressive way. And then just like trying to be in charge. And she's like the smallest person in the room, but she holds this like massive amount of power and like shadow behind her, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, if she was a Sith Lord, I'd totally believe it. Absolutely. I'd be like, yep, that's her. Darth bitch. I don't know, like, Darth mother-in-law. Like, I can't, like, freaks me the fuck out. And her voice is terrifying. Like, everything is like, it's too close. Anyway, so, I mean, we're Italian. We can relate. So, So basically, she's like trying to, she expects everybody to like please her and all this shit. And Daedra's just kind of sitting there like, "Oh yes, I bought the cakes you like. I was told that you liked them," and all
Yeah.
this other shit. And his mom just keeps making these fucking passive aggressive comments about like how, like, oh, Cyril being in charge, being, oh well, I don't know, just kind of like condescending this guy, like being
Nothing
just
nothing
really,
Cyril ever does will be good enough for his mother. And
yeah.
like
It's
and
terrible. And he gets fed up. He's just like, fuck this. Because at first he's just like, Mom, you're dripping, because they have like a hot pot like kind of thing.
yeah,
Almost like, when you're dipping in stuff in
fondue.
chocolate. Yeah, fondue. And like, he's like, oh, you're dripping. And he's like freaking out because of his OCD. And then Daedra's like, don't worry about it. And his mom's like, oh, please. And like, basically, like, Daedra's just kind of like, she's like letting the situation happen to like watch what's going on. And she's just kind of like assessing the situation as she does. And then it's crazy because he just gives up and gets so pissed and he walks out of the room. And as soon as he leaves, Daedra's in charge.
Yep.
She's like,
Daedra does like
nah.
a full negotiation. She's like, I listen, if you're not a dick to us, I will make sure that Cyril visits you 2 times a month.
Yeah, you'll get visitation rights, and it's like a prisoner like negotiation. She treats her like, I'm
She's
in
like,
charge.
you should quit mentioning Uncle
Don't.
Harlow because that guy's actually a piece of shit.
Yeah, she's like basically calling her out on all her bullshit. And at first she tries to push back, but then Daedra's just like, no, I'm like, it's me. I'm in charge. And then we pan over and we see Cyril's just like on the bed, just like, oh, like I give up.
He looks like the character animation for a dead Marine in Halo Combat Evolved. The way he's just laying like.
I just felt like in the 80s and early 90s, those movies where a kid was just like, my God, and they like slam the door and then they just plop down on their bed because they got to fight with their parents.
No, you know what he looks like? He looks like Family Guy. Like when the Family Guy characters get knocked the fuck over.
Yes, absolutely. 100% agree with that. That's great.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So anyway, he hears them laughing and he's like, what the fuck? And then he walks in there and he's just like, what's happening? They're like getting along and like his mom is being completely like a lot more like just 180 almost, like close to 180. We'll say like 120. Like she's being a lot nicer, and he's just like, whatever.
Yeah, Cyril's like, I don't know how this happened, but this is great.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much like the end of that whole situation. It's weird. It's one very long scene, but it is like very triggering. And
and so now we can lead into like why Daedra was gone in the first place.
Yes.
And that is, we basically got to see, I guess the way to describe it, like the secret Nazi meeting to discuss the final solution. But for the people of the planet Gorman.
Yeah.
Which so I'll back up a little bit. Director Krennic has summoned a bunch of ISB agents to a secret Alpine retreat, and he goes through a whole speech of like, "Hey guys, no one's gonna record this meeting. No, this meeting never happened. I need help getting rid of the people on Gorman so that we can do a mining operation."
So Gorman, and it's funny, we get this like really funny Fallout style video on like Gorman, and basically Gorman
what is the planet Gorman? Like,
yeah, Gorman is basically like this rich elite planet that they have a reputation of like thinking they're better than everybody, and they make these like really intricate like outfits garments and all this clothing and stuff. They use these spiders that run around in these tunnels and stuff, but they like work with these spiders. They're really small, and like everything around, like they love their spiders, and they make this amazing silk and these cloths and all this. It's very much a high-end clothing kind of planet, luxury goods.
I loved it so much that they were like, and you know what, we're gonna make them French.
Yeah,
we're gonna make
that's later on. That's later on, but like, yeah, they're like French.
They're French.
Which, haha, that's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, so this whole thing where like they find out from Krennic that basically, hey guys, I need this material that is found only on Gorman that is great for laser focusing crystals.
Wonder what that's about.
Wonder what that's for.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, this episode, these 3 episodes take place, forgot to say this, for BBY.
Yes.
So 4 years before the
A
battle.
New Hope. Are you sure it's
Yes.
4? I thought it was 3.
It's 4.
It's 4? Okay.
It's 4. And we're getting there. We're getting close. So yes, so this whole meeting is like kind of secretive, and they're trying to figure out what to do. How can they kind of like infiltrate the planet, convince the people to let them mine, because they find out that it would basically like it could cause an implosion of the planet. Like the planet literally could just go and it's not, that's not ideal. So they're like trying to figure out what they could do, and then Daedra's like sitting there and churning in her head, and Krennic's like, I know you've been thinking, and I know you've been like, you've already figured it out, and you figured it out a while ago how we could infiltrate this planet to like basically make it so they allow us to destroy it.
Well,
and she's like,
let's back up too, because another thing that they talked about at that meeting was that there are these 2 guys. They're the most evil people in the entire empire. They were the marketing department. And as everyone knows, the marketing department is nothing but pure, unadulterated evil.
Yeah, they're like the Frank Luntz
marketing.
Yeah, the Frank Luntz department is what they are.
Oh my god, they had it was great too, because they were just like, they're like, oh, you ever think Gormans are always a little uppity?
Yeah, isn't that fucked? They fucking use all this language, and I'm like, holy shit, they're saying these words that, like, in our world, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like, that word is like, we don't use that word here.
Yeah,
that's a bad word.
They're like, aren't the Gormans, they're all so arrogant.
Yeah, they try to, like, dehumanize them and make them, like,
which
bad.
We see in later episodes it worked, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, so, anyway, yeah, so they basically... Well, that's the thing is they prey on the reputation that they already kind of have.
Yeah.
And so Daedra basically is like, yeah, I figured it out. You need to have like an internal insurgency, like make them
she says, quote, you need Gorman rebels you can count on to do the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Which is funny because like the idea that she's setting up is basically like, we're gonna create a rebellion on Gorman to then crush.
Yeah,
which is the exact plot point from the Force Unleashed video game, which is very funny to me that they're like, we're gonna make a rebellion to then crush.
Yeah, there you go.
Sounds but fun. I have a feeling that this one's gonna have a modicum more of success.
Yeah,
than the Force Unleashed.
So that's their little side story. It was really quick. They don't really press upon it like a lot.
It'll become more apparent in the next series of episodes.
Yeah. So we'll start with, again, now with the major 3, we'll start with Mon Mothma. So Mon Mothma, her daughter is marrying that kid that she met in season 1.
Skolden's son.
And she clearly is not happy, but she's running around like handling the day-to-day planning and stuff for the wedding.
Yes.
We see the dress. Her daughter shows the dress to her friends, and it's like really cool. It's like floating. It's very pretty. And we see like the planet that they live on, we are seeing a lot of like around their house and stuff. It's very mountainous. It's
the planet of Chandrila.
Yeah, it reminds me like with the aesthetic of the outfits and like the like trees and stuff, it's actually very Japanese. Like we knew that, but now it's even more like they emphasize the like, it's weird. It's like a mix between medieval and Japanese, like medieval Europe and Japanese, like traditional. So
yeah,
it's kind of like all over the place. It's kind of cool. But she's running around. Her sister's running around. They're trying to plan all this to get the guests in. And then she sees a ship show up and she's like, oh no, look who it is. And it's Luthen. And he's like, what's up? Yep. And I think it's really cool that Luthen is there because he clearly has ulterior motives. Anytime he's doing anything, he's got some alternative.
Well, and he pulls up with his fucking wig on. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, he's like ready to go. And he's got his assistant and everything. And this story is really sad. So this story's theme is just kind of like letting go. and it's kind of psychologically damaging to Mon Mothma in two ways. Um, we will get to that, but yeah. So Luthen is there, and she's terrified because she knows he doesn't just show up out of nowhere for any reason. But yeah, so he shows up. They chat for a bit, and then she goes back to planning, and she's just kind of nervous. But her one friend shows up so in season 1, she has a friend who helps her basically hide all the cash for the rebellion.
Yes.
And kind of like money launder, basically.
And he's fallen on hard times.
Yeah, he eventually, we'll say this part now, but he later on tells her, he's chumming her up a lot of that before the wedding. And then at the wedding, he tells her that he's lost a lot of money from the rebellion. So this whole story follows her trying to basically convince her daughter it's okay if she doesn't want to marry this young man that, she probably doesn't want to. She's really young, but also she needs to then quell her friend.
No, except that her daughter wants to. Her daughter's super into it, man.
Yeah, and then she needs to quell her one friend, who I forget for some reason, I can't remember his name. Quell his disdain for doing what he did to try to help her.
Yep.
Because we find out that so in the beginning she's talking to her friend, and he's talking about how he left his wife, they're not together anymore, and clearly he likes her and everything like that. And it gets really weird. It just gets weird with him. He kind of creeps me out a little bit. Her husband's a jerk. Her husband's calling her out oh yeah, your buddy got drunk. He's a high-end person.
Your boyfriend got drunk, very specifically. So
yeah,
which by the way, Luthen noticed, because it's this guy's flirting with Mon Mothma in plain view of everyone. So that's controversy.
Yeah. It draws attention, and Luthen is really not about trying to draw attention right now. It's not great. So yeah, so basically as the wedding approaches, Mon Mothma talks, she's watching everything with her daughter running around. But then when the wedding occurs, so the first section is dealing with her daughter. So her daughter, she tells her daughter hey, I want to tell you what my mother couldn't tell me. My mom was drunk at her wedding, and I want to tell you that you don't have to do this. Yeah. You don't have to marry this boy. It is okay. And then her daughter just looks at her, and this is right before she's about to walk out on the aisle. And her daughter's I wish you were drunk. And then Mon Mothma gets really teary-eyed, and the girl, her daughter's about to go out there, and she's no, you go behind me. She's very just fine, bitch, you're gonna do this shit. You're listening to me. And even her daughter was so it's just kind of sucks because she's really looking out for her family, but at the same time, she's stressed about the stuff that's going on with her friend, but she's also stressed about the galaxy in general. She's got a lot. Mon Mothma's got the whole fucking literal weight of the galaxy on top of her. Yeah. And for her daughter is still everything to her. And so because the thing is, she eventually. So here's the deal. The reason, if you don't remember from season 1, the reason she's marrying this boy was because her friend, the dad is part of the money laundering scheme, and so that's why. And she's literally willing to throw that away for her daughter to be okay, essentially, to not have to throw her daughter into an arranged marriage. Shit, Jaden, are you there? There you go.
Yeah.
So basically, it's she doesn't want to throw her daughter in an arranged marriage, and she feels, and it's for her benefit, for the galaxy and all that. So she's super stressed by it, and we see the wedding occur, and she goes through with it, and we see this really cool dance that she her daughter does with her now husband, which is very medieval English, and they get this gift. It's an old relic.
Yeah, that turns out that's why Luthen is there, is because he was contracted by Skulldun to bring this ancient sculpture that had been kidnapped during the Rakatan invasion, which, by the way, I was oh fuck, the Rakatans are canon now. That's
explain dope. That. Explain that. What is that?
So the Rakatans in Legends were the species that basically ruled the galaxy before humans became the dominant species.
And I believe they enslaved a lot of because I remember didn't they enslave a lot of the galaxy?
Yeah, they were the evil empire. They were the OG
Yeah,
evil
I
empire.
remember they were mentioned in the first season because Luthen gave Cassian Andor a little jewel. I think it was a kyber crystal or something, and he says it was from that era. Do you remember that? He says it in season 1 in like one of the first
Oh my
episodes.
gosh, no, I don't remember that. But
He hands
like,
it to him when he's on the ship, and he's like, "This is like, I'm giving this to you.
I
Show
believe you.
this. It's
I
mine."
just didn't
Yeah,
remember that. That's awesome.
I remember that because I remember you were bugging out. But yeah, so they get this like giant statue, which kind of looks like an owl.
You gotta
Did you
remember
notice
too,
that?
like, so Luthen's there, to like present this thing that he found,
Yeah.
but at the same time, he's also working the room, which
Yep.
it was like, this was my favorite part of the whole series, of the whole like first 3 episode series. There's a sequence where Luthen is, he's acting like he's drunk, like another drunk rich guy at a party,
Yeah.
and he gets introduced to this guy, this young kid who's like a lieutenant. And he's like, "Oh, we're so proud of him. He's a lieutenant in the Imperial military." He's like, "Oh yeah, he's stationed at this place." And the kid's like, "Oh yes, but our entire squadron is being shipped out next week." And Luthen just goes, "Oh really? Well, where are you all going?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like with the happiest grin on his face, and I fucking loved it. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh shit." Because we as the audience were like, "Oh kid, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Yeah.
Don't say a fucking word." But he's
Yeah.
going to, because he's probably like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't say," but it's just a friendly drunk man at presumably like my great uncle's party,
Yep. Yep.
And it's like, and like meanwhile Luthen's just like, "Write that down, write that down, write that down."
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole
Like
thing with
that
Luthen,
that man is not gonna hesitate to
No.
kill that kid and his entire platoon. He's
Yeah,
like, "I'm
no.
just gonna if it benefits me, I'm gonna blow them all the fuck
Yep.
up."
So that whole section happens. I don't know if you noticed though, but the giant statue, it does look like an owl. It kind of reminded me of the owl from,
Ahsoka
that.
or Rebels,
Yeah.
or both. Yeah, probably. It's probably in the same. It's probably the same look and style of like the stuff we see in Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, it felt like that.
Yeah.
So the other half of Mon Mothma's story was dealing with what's his face? Tay Kolma, that's his name. So Tay Kolma is basically like he's depressed, right? He's talking about how he broke up with his wife and he lost a shit ton of money because of the rebels that he's been helping. And so he's a normal oligarch, right? Like he's a rich guy. So he's like complaining about this. He only did it because he like has a crush on her, really. I don't really think he cares about the galaxy per se. And so he gets drunk and people, they were talking about it.
At one point he stumbles into Luthen and Luthen's like, "Oh, hey," and then he's immediately like,
yeah, Luthen. Well, he finds out that like, both Mon Mothma and Luthen find out that like this guy basically says like he wants to basically talk. He wants to like,
which they immediately figure out. Oh, he needs money. He is broke.
Yeah, he's like basically going broke, and he's gonna talk. And so she's like pissed because like the wedding's already occurred. So it's almost just like, why didn't you tell me this, that you needed more help? And he's like, I should have. I'm like a weakling now. I can't do anything. Like he's just victimizing himself. Basically, the guy's an idiot and he's kind of an asshole. And he's just trying to get in her pants.
It's like a 180 from what he was in the previous season. Like
he's just trying to get in her pants. That's all he's trying to do. Yeah. And it's kind of ridiculous. And he's not as rich, and he's like doesn't like that because he's an oligarch. So basically, she is trying to figure out how to get him to not squeal and
and Luthen's like breathing down her neck, and she's like, "I will find a number." That's what she keeps saying. "I will find a number."
Yeah. And so eventually, Luthen,
because she knows what Luthen will do. She's like, she's fully aware of what he's capable of.
So basically, she's hella fucking stressed. she talks with Luthen, and it's been like maybe like an hour or two, a couple hours, and Luthen basically is just like, I'll handle it, and like I'm gonna, don't worry about it. Well, he'll focus on that, and he'll shut him up. And she says, I'm not sure what you mean. Like, I don't know what you mean. Like, how are you? Like, what do you mean? And he just looks at her and he just goes, how nice for you. Because he's
Dude, that I loved that when she just
it was
goes,
cold.
she's like, I don't know what you mean. He's like, how nice for you.
It's cold. It was very cold. He's gonna fucking kill him. And I totally get that. Soprano style, bro. Go for it. I do not care. Godfather
Dude, it was a very, like, the way they did it too is very Soprano style.
Oh yeah, well, so basically what happens is he gets drunk and he goes to leave, and Mon Mothma's like kind of realizes what's gonna happen eventually, and everybody starts partying. They bring this weird orb DJ thing in, and everybody just starts partying hardcore, and she's just like, holy shit, this is nuts. And she just gets shit faced. And
Yeah.
the whole episode itself ends on on her dancing, and then it like blacks out. But like she gets shit faced and just starts dancing. Even her husband is like, holy shit, like she is really going crazy. Because
Cinta
Luthen orders
shows up.
Cinta to then drive him home, quote drive him home. And her sister is there, and like Vel, right? So Vel's there.
It's not her
and
sister, it's her cousin.
Yeah, cousin. You're right, cousin. Vel's there, and Vel like is like to Cinta, like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I was called in, and so she's driving him home. Cinta's driving him home, and you just see him like with some like stupid smile going through the mountains, like on the car. Like she fucking kills him. There's no way she doesn't kill him. But yeah, it was a sad story for Mon Mothma. It was almost like, for everything she's been doing to try to help and all this stuff, she has no control. No. And that's kind of like the end of her, like when she gets drunk and stuff. It really is like she just like says, I don't have any control, so I'm just gonna let go. And so she let her family go, right? Like she sacrifices her family for the quote greater good. She now has sacrificed her friendship and a friend. It's just kind of like, it's sad. Like it's kind of really sad. Like this whole episode, I will say, like this whole part 1 is sad. Like it's not happy at all. It's unbelievably sad. So that's Mon Mothma. That's her story. It's depressing as shit. On to the next depressing one. Yeah, so I would say like the theme of these is definitely like, it's not all happy-go-lucky wizards and epic battles and shit. It's not a fun time.
No.
So yeah, next person we're going to talk about is Cassian Andor, the main person. So Jaden, I'll let you start this one because I know you liked his story quite a lot.
I liked it because, man, first of all, it's just a really cool sequence with him. He's dressed up as an Imperial pilot, and he's sneaks onto an Imperial base, and he steals what is probably the coolest TIE fighter I've ever seen. It was the TIE Avenger.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's like, it was inspired by Kylo Ren's like it's the first like full cockpit, like being able to like walk around in it, like TIE fighter.
Yeah, it had seats in there too.
Yeah. Basically he goes into this base and he's like infiltrating it, but there is a worker there who she basically is the reason why he can get the ship.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out. Terrifying.
It was great too, because like he's like standing there and she's like, oh, I was told not to look at you, and he's like, you are giving up everything, you can look at me, it's fine.
Yeah, he kind of like comforts her because she's having a little freak out, and she's like,
having a crisis of faith.
Yeah, and she's like, is it worth it? And he's like, everything is worth it. He's like, what you're doing now, it's all worth it. And he like kind of peps her, and he's just like, look, like everything that they're doing is terrible,
Like you,
and
but it says something
anything.
effective like you won't be able to sleep knowing unless you
Yeah.
do everything you can to take them down.
And he's just basically like, anything you do to oppose them is worth it. From the smallest thing to be, he's basically just like, this is all worth it.
Yep.
And he reassures her that like it's like you'll be okay. Like everything, like as long as we keep fighting, like it is going to be worth it. As long as we don't give up, it is worth it. Kind of a very big, like stark difference from the Cassian Andor in season 1. Because
Yeah,
the
who
Cassian
didn't
Andor
have
in season
faith.
1 didn't want to fucking be a rebel.
No,
He just wanted to like
he wanted
basically
to find his
save his.
sister, man. That was how
Yeah,
this whole thing started.
he wanted to find his sisters, family, save everybody, and just be left the fuck alone. And now he's like actively, like clearly, he's like, I'm on a mission, right? So, yeah, he gets this dope ass TIE fighter. This thing is fucking sick.
It's amazing.
But he has no idea how to freaking drive it.
He keeps crashing into the walls, which then, of course, alerts the guards. The guards show up, but he figures out how to use the guns. There's this great escape sequence he does. And he makes it out, and he makes it to the planet where he's supposed to rendezvous with an actual pilot.
Yep.
To fly it home. And that's where we get to... that's where we meet the Democrats.
Please, don't even. This is such a freaking weird sequence. I don't know who the hell these freaking people are.
So the sequence is supposed to represent how fractured the rebellion is at this point in time.
True.
Cassian Andor, he lands on this planet, and then immediately you got a guy's like, freeze! You got 15 blasters pointed at your head, and then you hear someone else going, don't tell him how many people we have here. And then someone else is like, who put you in charge? And it was like the infighting from the get-go is crazy. It turns out that this is a rebel faction that had been wiped out by the Empire. These are the survivors. They had rendezvoused at this planet. It was a pre-coordinated rendezvous point, and they killed Luthen's pilot because they were suspicious of him.
Well, they said he got violent, and he was just like, I don't know, he shot at them, whatever. Basically, Cassian has to deal with these people who don't know who the fuck he is. They're like suspicious of him.
They're like, oh, he's a rebel, or he's an Imperial pilot. Like, look at this.
They get suspicious of him. There's one guy who's like clearly more of a leader. Me personally, I think it's the dude with the beard.
Well, that's the problem is that we don't know. There are like 5 or 6 of them that all think that they're the leader of this fucking group.
He's the only one that's not as suspicious of Cassian, but everybody starts like just fighting, and they haven't eaten, and they're like terrified of the nighttime, and like it's not a good time for them. Basically, Cassian's trying to convince them like, hey, I'm on a mission just like you. Like, I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. Like, I stole that. Like, this ship was supposed to be mine. Like, what the fuck's going on? And they just all of a sudden they just keep arguing and shit. So finally, they get in an argument, and one of the dudes shoots another one and kills him. And so then they break off into 2 groups, and they're like shooting at each other. A storm happens, and basically this one's really quick. So like Cassian's just stuck here, and these people are just infighting. It's just all this infighting, and Cassian's like, "What the fuck, man? I gotta get out of here."
Yeah, and it's funny too is like in the meantime they just take time out of their day to bully him as well.
Yeah, like everybody's just being shitty to him, and he's just like you could tell he's more annoyed and frustrated than like even angry. He's just like, and he's feeling rushed because he's like, I have to get this ship out of here. If this guy's dead, I have to go myself and do this. So, basically, he while they're all shooting each other and stuff, a storm happens. They're crawling out to try to get their own like intel on each other.
Yeah, like
they find the foot of the girl. She's dead. She's gone, and it's just her foot in the boot.
Yeah.
So like something ate her, and they're like, what the fuck? And so
there's a great sequence too where like the faction that Cassian wasn't captured by, they ran into the TIE Avenger. So here's the setup is like one faction controls the TIE Avenger, a ship that can fly them out of there, but they don't have a pilot.
Yep.
And then Andor is stuck with the other crew. He is the pilot, but they don't have a ship. And they're like, how do we figure this out? And so then the guys who have the TIE Avenger figure out how the guns fucking work. So then they start like dragging the ship they like try to pull the ship towards the ship that they're hiding on to shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
So then
And-
Cassian's rebels start shooting at them to like stop them from doing the progress.
So basically, he convinces them to start firing at each other. None of them have eaten. So they're all trying to go through rations, and they're eating either gross food that's natural to the planet or, rations that are like, well, we can keep them dry. We can, dehydrate them.
They're moldy rations, but
it's
they're
a whole.
rations.
Ugh, the food's gross. So basically, he convinces, them that like, you guys are gonna fucking die, like you don't have food and stuff. So they start talking, they put their weapons down, and they start doing like a weird rock paper scissors.
They play space rock paper scissors.
Yeah, and it felt like like they were doing the from Dodgeball, the Cobra dance when they come out.
Oh yeah,
like that's what they were doing. And so while this is going on, Cassian knows where the weapons are on this broken down ship because it was supposed to be where he was gonna go. So he gets a weapon out of like one of the compartments, takes out the guard, and then grabs a communications like device basically, and then books it. And he's going towards the fighter, and then like these creatures, these weird like, I don't know, boarish
dragon things.
Yeah, they kind of look like the like frogs from like the Jedi Survivor game, but like a little bit different.
Yeah.
But basically he gets to the ship, and those people are now fighting those animals. But then like he lifts off because he's fucking pissed.
Yep.
And those people are firing at him and stuff. Basically, he abandons these rebels on this planet. He's like, "Fuck you," and he flies off.
Well, and the thing is too, like these rebels are not. They're not competent. Like we get that right from the get go because there's a sequence. I want to mention this before we get too far away.
Stupid. They're idiots.
No, exactly. But like my favorite part that demonstrates that was when Cassian goes like, "What faction are you with?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're with Mara's faction. What about you?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm not gonna tell you." And they're like, "Well, we told you where we're from." And he's like, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that."
Yeah. He's like, "You're giving all the information away." He's like, "What are you doing?" So he flies off, and then he's in space, and he's like, we get this really cool sequence of him. Like he flies the ship, and he's pissed, and he's like kind of like competently starting to fly it. He's like kind of remembered how to use it.
Yeah.
So then,
did you notice what planet it was? By the way,
no,
it was Yavin 4.
Okay, so that's what it was. I was thinking that. I was like, and I was like, I don't know.
Yavin 4.
Interesting. How is that significant, Jaden?
Well, it's the rebel base. It's the rebel base in A New Hope. Which means that it's known to the rebellion even now.
There you go. So he leaves. He's in orbit. He's we get this really cool shot with like the star like going through the cockpit and everything. Throughout the whole time at Mon Mothma's situation, they've been trying to get in contact with Cassian, his Luthen's assistant, and then finally she's like, "I have to go back to the shop. I can't do this shit here because it's not going to work. Can barely get a signal out." So Cassian can't get in contact with Bix. He can't get in contact with anybody. He hasn't tried Bix yet, but he wants to, and he finally gets in contact with the shop, and she's like, "Why are you the one contacting me?" And
where's the pilot?
Like, what happened? Yeah.
Good question.
So then he's like, "I gotta go home," and she's like, "You can't," and he's like, "What do you mean?" And then like she's like, "You can't. There's a blockade on the planet," and so he gets pissed, and she like loses contact with him because he just says, "Nah, bro, I'm gonna go jump," and he jumps to the planet. And I'm going to end his story there because Bix's story is probably the most disheartening situation for all of this. It's very depressing. While Cassian was getting his shit rocked, Bix and Brasso and stuff, like they were all getting, it was pretty bad.
So Bix, Brasso, B2EMO they're all living on a farm planet.
Mhm. Yeah, it's basically space Nebraska. Um,
Yeah.
as somebody who lives there, I will tell you it's basically space Nebraska, but they grow wheat instead of corn.
Yep. And an imperial inspection is coming down. Like it's a peaceful town. Like the community loves them, all that stuff. But an imperial inspection is coming, and the problem is that Bix, Brasso, they're illegal. And
Yeah.
what's the kid's name? I always forget the kid's name.
Yeah,
The
I
third guy,
forgot the kid's name.
Willem,
Is it
maybe
Wilman? Wilman? Yeah, Wilmon.
Willman.
Yeah. Because I remember it reminded me like Pokemon or Digimon because it had a Mon at the end. Wilmon. So yeah, they're illegal on this planet. And just kind of sounds a little familiar here. The workers, a large chunk of the workers on this planet are illegal immigrants.
Yep.
So they do the
They're
hard
like, it
work,
should be
the hard
fine.
labor.
Like they're not gonna care. They need the food.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what the Empire has been saying. So they're on this planet and they're just trying to survive. They're just trying to like lay low. But then Wilmon's in love with this girl that lives there. Brasso is pretty much married to this woman that's there, and it's basically like Space Nebraska, but everybody's Irish.
Yeah.
It's so weird, so weird. So basically, a ship shows up, and it's an Imperial ship, and everybody starts freaking out, and it's doesn't look like an Imperial ship. Like it is very not like
It's not a high priority imperial ship.
it's not an angular style ship like that. It still looks
one
a
of their
little
it's one of their cruisers. One of the
yeah,
like,
it's a little
cruisers.
old looking though. It looks more like Clone Warsy. But it's basically like they're gonna start checking visas. They're doing an imperial audit on the planet. So Brasso's got this buddy of his that lives on the planet. They become friends with. They're working as mechanics on the planet, and yeah, so the Imperials show up. They just start talking to people. It's very creepy. It's very Papers, Please.
Yeah, honestly.
It hits pretty close to home if you live in if you live on planet Earth right now, it
in the
might
United States
sound
specifically
familiar.
right now.
Yeah.
And we get our typical harassment of people. This the military occupation would have. But then we get a sequence where an imperial lieutenant starts getting pretty affectionate with one Bix.
Yeah. Bix is
And
like, I
Bix
have a
is giving the
husband.
usual excuse. And he's like, "Oh, my husband, he's away working on another farm." And the lieutenant's like, well, he's a lucky man, that husband of yours. Where can I find him? And she's like, oh, he's working.
He's off planet.
He's off planet, but he'll be back.
Yeah. So if that gives you any idea of how this is going to go, yeah, they all leave and they're going to go inspect another silo, and so the group basically gets papers that's going to allow them to leave and go to another area, the 800 something area. So they'll be there for like a day or two, and then they can come back and basically miss the inspection.
Yep.
But Woolman has other ideas. He decides to go to the shop that their friend owns, that the girl is her parents live or whatever. I assume it's her parents.
Yeah.
And then they're in the field, but then the Imperials show up again. And yeah, so he's like, I got to get the speeder. And then he's like, I just got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah. So he starts running back. And Brasso is like, where is he? We got to go. And because they would have made it. They would have gotten out of there. But then Cassian he gets in contact. And she kind of hears it, but can't get in contact with him. Mm-hmm. And Brasso ends up going to the shop to try to find Wilman, and pretends that he hates his friend and everything, like saying,
yeah, okay,
like,
I was wondering if you caught that, because he was like, pretended, he was like, oh, you bastard, you betrayed us.
He was trying to make it so they didn't go after Bix. He was trying to make it so Bix could escape.
No, I think he was protecting the shopkeep.
Well, that too. He was protecting the shopkeep as well. Because I think Bix was going to try to escape, but what happens is the Imperial officer left and went to see Bix again, and I mean, I'm just gonna say it like he tries to rape her, like
Yeah.
he sexually assaults her, he tries to
No, that's what Bix says. He tried to rape me. You know?
she says it, and she beats the fuck out of him. She literally beats the shit out of him.
She kills him. No, she beats
him. She
him
fucking kills him. And it's very I would say it's graphic, but it's also like I'm not going to go through the sequence.
It's graphic enough for Star Wars. How about that?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. There are people that have complained about all the childish nature in Star Wars right now, and they've like said they wanted more adult content. The second we get
some adult themes, and they're all like,
they want some adult content, and they want some adult themes, and they want some like more mature stuff in Star Wars. But like, I haven't seen too much of this, but I've heard that there were people that have complained about it. Like, you're complaining about getting exactly what you fucking want, what you fucking complained to get. Like, I'm sorry that you're not, you can't have it like all these different ways. You can't have it all these different ways, man. Like, this is definitely something that happens in the galaxy. It happens in our fucking world. Why wouldn't it happen there?
Exactly.
Fascism can happen there, but this can't happen. Like, what the fuck out of here?
I saw like the meme. I mean, we're late to the party, but like the memes of like, Darth Vader attending the annual sexual harassment seminars.
Yeah,
like, because I think it was someone was like, oh, Darth Vader wouldn't let this happen to Bix, and it's like, he doesn't fucking care.
He didn't give a shit.
If anything, he didn't. If anything, it the Sith thrive on suffering.
Yeah, if you don't think sexual assault happens in Star Wars, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Just like how there's bolts and screws.
Yo, bro. Hey, got him. So yeah, it's a very serious scene, and what's his name? Willman shows up. He saves Bix. He from another Imperial officer, but then that officer ends up like reporting back before he dies that they need help, and so the whole Imperial group starts mobilizing.
Except for the small group that's guarding Brasso.
Yeah. They're gonna go and like kind of fuck Bix up, and Cassian ends up showing up with the ship. That's where he warped in.
Yeah.
And he just fucks them up.
Dude, he kills everybody. It's great.
Ooh, boy, does he kill everybody. Now Brasso, he escapes. He gets on the speeder that he had. He ends up escaping because those guys freak out that the guards freak out that there's a ship attacking them that's one of their own. They don't know. Before Brasso did this, before like they were actually gonna leave the whole entire like area to go to 800, before he showed up and all this stuff was going down, he had actually said goodbye to B2 Emo, who's been like crying basically that Cassian's not around.
Yeah.
And B2's been really excited because he's like, oh, Cassian's gonna show up. Cassian's gonna show up. Cassian's gonna show up. Like Bix has been having nightmares, like she's not sleeping well, and B2 Emo is like on his charger all the time, and he's just like waiting for Cassian.
It's harder and harder for him to stay powered.
Everybody's waiting. Everybody's like waiting for Cassian, and like she's got some PTSD, and like she just can't wait for him to show up again so he can help her. Brasso's like, I want my buddy. Like everybody's been like missing him, but B2 Emo is like, what do I do? And Brasso's like, oh, you're gonna stay with basically my wife, and I think it's his wife. I'm just
not a wife, it's girlfriend, but it's fine.
Well, we'll go with wife, eternally wife.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, so B2 Emo's like really depressed. He's like, where's Cassian? So Brasso's like, finally, I think Brasso knows it's Cassian, and he's just like, fuck yeah, let's go. He gets on the speeder, but our boy doesn't make it, and
dude, they killed Brasso in the first group, man. I knew he wasn't long for the world, but god damn.
I'm very mad. I wanted to see him do more. I wanted
wanted more out of him, yeah. I agree.
More rebel shit, man. I wanted him to like...
I wanted to see him be fully involved in the cause.
I know. I'm fucking sad about it, thinking about it right now, because he's my favorite like Andor character, and I
yeah.
What a badass. But yeah, so he dies, and I don't even know how he gets shot, but like I
Stormtrooper
didn't.
hits him.
Yeah,
So
but
like
like
the
it didn't look
stormtrooper
like.
can't hit shit thing is gone now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It didn't look like he got hit, in my opinion, but whatever. Um, yeah. So Cassian jumps out of the ship. He's holding his best friend. He's like, "What the fuck?" Bix shows up. Woman shows up, and they're just like, "Where's Brasso?" And he's like, "Doesn't make it." And so they have to get the fuck out of there as soon as possible.
Yep.
So like they leave him there in the field, and yeah, and then they you know he knows how to fly the ship, and they're all like sad as shit in the ship,
And
and
that's basically the end.
and that is those are the stories in Andor Part 1 of season 2, and it's all depression, it's all loss, all like losing control. Everybody loses control of the situations they're in. Everybody um loses something, a part of themselves, in some way. um it shows that like this is not gonna be a fun ride. Rebellion is not easy, and it is not something that like we've glorified it, right?
Yeah.
In like A New Hope and those kinds of things, like you glorify that rebellion. You're like, yeah, look at that, like Luke's saving the day and Han Solo, like, but these are the rebels that like don't have magic powers. These are the rebels that don't have,
These are the rebels that die, my guy.
yeah, these are the people that like are the fodder, or the people that have like been doing this for years, the ones that are,
These are the
you
ones. These
know,
are the ones that Luthen talks about. Like I stake my life on a sunrise I will never see. These
yeah,
guys
yeah,
in the background.
yeah, these are the people that sacrifice everything, that don't have a connection with the Emperor and all these, like these are just like the these are the people that Luke is fighting for, right? Like
Yep.
these are the people that like our main cast of like Skywalker folks, the crew, are fighting with and for.
Yeah.
So this is where it's not like the happy ending kind of shit.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say for a part 1 of intro for season 2, this shit went hard.
Yeah.
This shit
No, dude, this was fucking dope.
This was a very big introduction. Like the clean room for the ship was really cool. That was the first shot you get, is basically like the clean room for the new ship, and you're
Yeah,
like,
the hangar
oh,
bay.
yeah, it's fucking sick.
Yeah, dude. And it's all
So like
practical.
that's
That
when
was
you
a
knew.
cool thing.
Yeah, that ship was awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, overall, I would say it was a great like intro. I mean, the
Yeah.
set design was great, the acting was great, sound design, visuals, audio. I mean, the whole thing. Like, I didn't have any notes.
No.
I was like, yeah, 10 out of 10.
They carried the momentum from season 1, baby.
Yes, they did. And I think the themes they touch upon are really good. I think it's subtle enough, but also like the one thing, okay, I will say, like when Mon Mothma gets shit faced and there's like the rave, space rave,
Yeah.
like everybody online has been like, what the hell is this? And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
loved
kind of
it.
get it. I love it because it's like you now have techno and stuff. I mean, we have rock and techno and like cyberpunk style music in Star Wars, which is really fucking cool. Because like it's expanding on like what those people listen to in their everyday lives, and then like how each planet has its own culture and all that. Like
Yeah.
that stuff's so cool to fucking see. I love seeing that shit. It's expanding on Star Wars,
Expanding the lore.
way more, and it's showing the diversity in like each planet. Like each planet has its own culture, each planet has its own thing, and it's kind of cool to just see how it, Coruscant's whatever. That's like a bunch of rich fucks. This is like we're experiencing like, the just how big the galaxy is. And I'm having a blast with this kind of stuff.
I agree.
Well, that about wraps it up. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate and review us on wherever you listen to your shows, your podcasts, but also give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah, I know I said it, like and subscribe. But yeah, no, seriously, if you guys are enjoying Andor, let us know. Comments, email us. You can email us at the lostcantinapod@gmail.com. gmail.com. Send us some messages on socials if you want to. Like, we're on it. It's on our phones. But yeah, we've been having a good time watching Andor, and the new formats of how we're gonna like be posting content is gonna be really fun, and we're looking forward to it. So yeah, definitely take a watch for Andor. At least watch. If you're gonna watch season 2, you know, really, if you're thinking about it, like, just do it. It's totally worth it. But thank you again, and we will catch you next time.
Bye bye.